Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, it is visible now.
All right. So yesterday we were doing document understanding. That's an advanced concept in UiPath that basically focuses on extracting information from documents. Those documents can be either PDF, it can be a scanned PDF, an image, or forms. It can be utility bills. It can be resumes. And what all sectors we can use document understanding. It's finance, HR, insurance, banking. Moreover, it's a widely used concept. So yesterday we also studied about few public endpoints provided by UiPath that can be used for OCR and also in the machine learning model. So these endpoints are listed in this document or web page. I shared the link yesterday during our session. Um, we started using one of the public endpoint for UiPath document OCR. Let me quickly revise the code for you. Document understanding has a framework and has basic set of activities. So before even going there, let me share the presentation or the content for what we are going to study. So document understanding framework has steps. The first step is to load the taxonomy. The second step is to classify, digitize your document. The third step is to classify and then extract and export. So yesterday we were able to cover creating taxonomy. We were able to understand how to digitize and what is digitization of the document and classify. So what is a taxonomy? A taxonomy is nothing but a set of information that we provide the robot or based on which it can make decisions that what kind of documents we have. So that's taxonomy. Then we studied digitization. What is digitization? So currently, if you see, you have invoices, forms, any kind of invoice, but mostly they are not in machine readable format. So to convert your documents in a format that your robot can understand is a step called as digitization. Then the third step we started doing was classification. With the help of the taxonomy that we have generated, the bot tries to recognize the incoming document, whether it's an invoice or a false document. So that is called as classification. I also noted few important points that you can keep in mind. So classification is not a mandatory step. It can be done and it can be avoided as well. So when to avoid classification? Suppose you're doing a project which only contains one kind of invoice. In that case, you can totally choose to avoid classification of the document. We also discussed when to use parallel for each and for each, and we saw a practical demo. We also saw what step in the document understanding takes the most of the time. So it's the digitization step. So as I was telling you, in order to code for document understanding, UiPath has come up with certain packages that is called as document understanding ML activities, intelligent OCR activities, and OCR activities. Intelligent OCR activities is responsible to get you the taxonomy manager in your UiPath studio. We use OCR activities because we want UiPath OCR engine. I also informed you yesterday that digitization is not an OCR based step. We do not forcefully apply OCR. We only apply OCR when we have an image or a scanned document. Without wasting any more time, let me start with the process. So we did until classification, but we were supposed to use classifiers in our classification station. So I hope I gave you a document. I gave you two documents to practice, and I hope that you have practiced it. Let me also show you something in the admin console. So yesterday we were discussing about how to get the API key for document understanding. In order to get the API key, you have to, on your orchestrator, so this is your orchestrator, cloud orchestrator, on the admin part, under licenses, you will find robots and services. In that, you will find your API key. In case if this is the first time you're using this, you might need to generate your API key, or simply you can proceed by copying the already generated API key in your workflow. So let's start with classification. So we were able to, okay, before even going into classification, let me quickly tell you what all we did. So in the design tab of your UiPath Studio, you have something called as taxonomy manager. And we used two invoices to create our taxonomy. as discussed, what is taxonomy? It's a set of information. So what information did we provide to our robot? We provided the information of the fields that we want to extract. So I wanted to extract invoice number, date, address, and item. Item is nothing but a table from which we are getting the number of the items we have in our invoice, the description, quantity, and line amount. All right. So every time I start my document understanding project, or I always keep my documents, invoices on which I'm actually performing or creating the code for open. So we are using two invoices. One is this, and the other we are using multi-page invoice. So in this multi-page invoice, we have basically two invoices collated together in form of PDF. And from both the invoices, we are getting the date, we are getting the invoice number, and we are extracting this complete information. So now let's start. Inside the parallel for each, let's bring in our classifiers. So I hope if you were not able to follow my code yesterday, I already shared the code. I want all of you to open the code in the UiPath Studio and let's build the code from there. So write classifiers in your activity panel. Once you do that, you'll get options of intelligent keyword classifier, keyword-based classifier, and machine learning classifier. We are going to learn all three. We will start with keyword-based classifier and then intelligent keyword-based classifier first. So to configure both the classifiers, I explained you yesterday that we need to create two empty JSON files. One is the intelligent keyword classifier.json and keyword classifier.json. So these are basically empty files. You do not have any information in this. But now we will train our robot to create information in these files. I've also shared these files with you, both the JSON, in fact, all the three JSON files. So let's start. Now I'm going to train my first classifier, that is the keyword-based classifier. So I'm going to navigate to this JSON file, and then I'm going to click on Manage Learning. Once I click on Manage Learning, it asks me to give some important words, like using this word. These words will be the hint for your robot, based on which it will consider a document as invoice or as a false document. So maybe invoice is one word, the other word can be date, the other word can be address. What else do we have in both the documents? Let's see. So I've already used invoice, I've used address. Instead of whole delivery address, I've used address. I have used date also, I've used description also. And in our second document, I have everything: invoice, date. Instead of address, I have bill to and ship to, and I have description as well. So what I'm going to give, I'm going to give ship and description as well as keywords. Description. That's it. Save. Once you save, you will populate the same information in your JSON file. We are going to see what happened, but first let us configure our intelligent keyword-based classifier as well. So let's browse the intelligent keyword classifier JSON file that we have. This endpoint is usually auto-populated, so you don't have to worry from where you got this. If you want to know from where you got all this information, you can still find it over here. For intelligent keyword classifier, it is the same value. Now we have to provide the API key also. So let's copy the API key and let's go back to the studio. Since it's a string, double code it and provide the information. Now let's click on Manage Learning. So once I click on Manage Learning, if you see, I already have something as finance incoming invoices pre-trained for my model, but for today's purpose, I'm going to retrain it. All right, let's start retraining. How to do that? Okay, one thing more. If you have already trained a model, you will be able to select it to be used in this particular code. But if you want to train a model starting from the scratch, from the beginning, like we are going to do, you won't be able to select it unless you train it, right? So how to do that? Just click on Start Training and select the documents on which you want to train. It can be thousands of documents. The best number is 10, a batch of 10 documents, and then you can keep on retraining it using your code. You don't have to do it manually also. So we will learn that as well. But first, let's select the documents. Currently, I have two documents and I'm going to train on both these documents. OCR that we are using is UiPath document OCR. In the digitize step, it is preferable whatever OCR you use for digitizing, you use the same OCR over here. Give your API key. Again, the API key comes from over here. So copy this API key and provide it over here. Now, you have two options, use local server and force apply OCR. If you remember during our first class, I told you that there are multiple OCR available apart from UiPath OCR. You have OCRs from Microsoft, from Google, from Abby. Now, if you're working for an organization, there are certain organizations that configure their own OCR. So if you want to use a custom-based OCR, you can click on use local server and configure your custom-based OCR. But for us, we already are using UiPath document OCR, so we don't need this. Now let's talk about force apply OCR. If I click on force apply OCR, this OCR will be used for all my document, whether it is an image or a scan. So what is the best practice? It's very important to know. Best practice, keep it false. Do not select this. Why? If you do that, it will take less time to train and retrain your model. It's important to make your automation stable and fast. So I'm not going to select it and I'm going to start the training. It takes a few minutes of your time. So while it is training, you see it says digitizing and training. Why? If your document, whatever it has read through the digitization step, if it is scanned and not trained properly, it will re-digitize over here. Now, if you see, you have two options. You have two trained models. Which one do you want to use? Definitely, we've trained this for our purpose. I'm going to use this and I'm going to save this. Done. So we've managed the learning. Now I'm going to tell you about the machine learning part of this and also the artificial intelligence center that UiPath has, AI center. So before even I use that machine learning classifier, I'll show you the AI center on the UiPath Studio. So all the students who want to learn the AI capabilities, you might try and get an enterprise trial, and using that enterprise trial, you will be able to use the AI center. So what you see over here are two packages, two machine learning models that I have already configured for the class. So my machine learning classifier skill is going to be used now. So how do I use it in the workflow? Let's try and do that. So there is an activity called as machine learning classifier, and I'm going to use this. You have to click OK, and as soon as you click OK, it will ask you, let's refresh. It will actually pick up two models, machine learning skills or models that I have configured. So this is a classifier. I'm going to use ML classifier skills. And as already said, we have our API key. Let's get the API key once more. From the licenses, robots and services, and copy API key, and let's provide it over here and get capabilities. So when you click on get capabilities, basically whatever you were doing through managed learning, it has been done through get capabilities way in the machine learning classifier activity. So now, once you have configured, once you have managed your classifier activities, you have to configure these classifiers. Now, if you see, we are using three classifiers, right? During configuration, it will give you three information. Which classifier do you want to use? So for my project, I want to use all the classifiers for the invoice. And for machine learning classifier, it is basically invoices. Let's take a pause and let's see why was there a drop down over here. So what happens, I'll show you rather than just theoretically telling you. Let's go back to AI Center. So right now I'm taking a break from machine learning, document understanding, and I'm going to tell you the basics of machine learning. All right, so I'll start by creating a small demo project for our purpose, for understanding purpose, and I'm going to name it as demo. once I click on demo anywhere, before going anywhere, let's click on ML packages and see what all do we have. So suppose there is a data science team in your organization and they have custom based models, machine learning models. To use that, you can use this option, but UiPath has self-sufficient models. We usually, until now, I did not need this custom-based models. So what I click is out of the box package. In the out of the box package, you see these are all the packages that's available. So I'll walk you through everything one by one. So what we are going to learn today is the UiPath document understanding. The others is for language analysis, which will tell you what kind of language, like what is the nature of the language that's being used in your documents or emails or web pages. UiPath task mining is again a niche package from UiPath. It's basically the eye of your robot. Why I say that it's the eye of the robot, it tells the robot what process can be automated and what cannot be. Then we have other packages for image analysis. Using image analysis, there is a very interesting project that has been created for COVID-19. Suppose there is an outlet of, or for example, there is a shop, and using this image analysis model, what we were able to do is to analyze the number of people and the distance between the two objects. Suppose the people are object, and then using this, we can actually tell you who is following the SOPs, who is not following the SOPs, how many number of people are there, etc. So this is one package that you can explore, and so on. So let's focus on UiPath document understanding. When you click on UiPath document understanding, okay, if you see this page, what all you have? Invoices, invoice for Australia, India, etc., Japan, etc., passport, purchase orders, receipts, utility bills. This is what you were seeing in the drop down. See again, invoices, purchase orders, receipts, utility bills. What you cannot see is basically the passports. So the passports currently you can actually use through utility bills or receipts, or you can create a different model altogether. And for invoice Australia, invoice India, you can simply use invoices as well. So let's go back and let's configure invoices for ourselves. So I hope this drop down, I have explained it well. You now understand where this information is coming from. Also, it's very important to manage your license usage on AI Center. So currently you see I have no GPUs available. So I basically do not use GPU for my project. It's taken care, like when I run the projects, it's acquired then. So over here, I have one robot used and I have in total two. Always keep the consumption to bare minimum. So currently I'm using 50%. All right. So I'll click back on the admin tab. Let's start with our workflow. Now, there is an important thing that you should see, minimum confidence, right? So it's very important to assign a confidence level to your project. So I'm going to give 40. Practically, you should give the highest possible, but I'm going to give 40. Let's click on save. Now, there should be a question in your mind. Why am I using 3 classifiers when I can only use one to do the job? The reason is, what I want to show you is what is the priority given. So the first priority will be given to the classifier that is the leftmost. If suppose it was like this, if my keyword classifier was somewhere over here, intelligent keyword classifier was used before keyword classifier, that will get the highest priority. So left to right. All right, let's save this. Now you've done the classification. The bot will be able to classify your document. What if whatever has been classified, the result is less than 40%? The bot is not confident enough. How will you train the bot, or how will you classify the document? In that case, we have something called as present validation station. That is attended automation. Then you have unattended automation using Action Center. Again, if it's a lot of things that I'm telling you today in the code, don't worry, I will explain it to you one by one. So let's start by learning how to use these validation stations. So now let's bring an if condition. It basically will check if anything has been classified or not. So if you remember, I told you that classification will give you an array. Auto classification results is an array of classification results. See, it's an array, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to check if something has been classified or not. So either I check it like this, dot any. This will give me either true or false, or the other way that you can check is classification results dot count. So if something has been classified, the count will always be greater than 0, right? Now, if the count is greater than 0, you don't have to classify manually. But if it is not greater than 0, you might need to classify it manually. So let me create a Boolean variable. And let me add the value over here. So basically, if I do not need to do anything manually, my Boolean variable should be false, right? I don't need manual intervention because everything has been classified by the bot. But if I need to classify it, it will become what? It should become true. So I'll assign it true over here. All right. Now, if you remember, I assigned something called as confidence level, 40%, how to account for that. So suppose if something was classified, but now let's check if the classification confidence level was high or not. Either you do like this or you can keep this in for each loop as well. So for our purpose, I'm going to keep it like this. So in that case, if the confidence is greater than 0.4, I again don't need to classify anything manually. If not, I have to classify it manually. Okay. Um, are you able to follow? Are you all able to follow me until over this particular logic? You can unmute yourself and let me know in case of any doubt. All right. So I assume we are good and I'll move forward. Now, I have to tell the model in case if it hasn't been able to classify, right? So I already have a variable to account for. Let's use that. And now let's use present validation station. So I'm going to teach you first attended automation, and then we are going to learn about unattended automation. So let's start with present classification station first. Okay, let's take a pause. You see there are two activities, present classification and present validation. When you're using classifiers, make sure you use present classification station, and going forward, we will tell you how to use present validation station. All right. So the document path is inside the variable item. Let's pass that. Document text, from which activity do we get document text? While digitizing, right? So doc text, document object model also comes from digitizing the document. Taxonomy comes from the taxonomy manager that we described, and the output is of a load taxonomy activity. Automatic classification results is from which activity? Is from this activity, all right? So auto classification result, and we want to store the output in a new variable. We'll name it as validated classification results. Again, this is an array. This is attended automation. And now inside here, what I'll do is I'll assign the variables. I want to, going forward, I want to use this validated classification results every time. All right, beautiful. Save it. Let's give it a run. So this is your execution that has started. And now, if you remember what we did something called as a present classification station, and the bot was not able to classify this multi-page document. Let's take a pause and understand one very important concept over here. Actually, two important concepts over here. You see, this is multi-page document. Page number one, this is 1 and 1. These are page limits. 2 and 2 is a page limit. And to split the document, you have this icon. You usually won't get it. It will only appear when you have a multi-page document. So click on this. Once you click on this, you have to classify it like this. All right. So we've classified a document. In both the cases, we have classified the document. Now I can simply save it. Also remember, yesterday I discussed a use case with you. Suppose your business is asking you to use this invoice, extract information from these invoices, but somehow by mistake they also place Excel documents in the input location. What happens then? The bot will not be able to classify. It will give you this validation station. Again, classification station. So what you have to do, if you want to ignore a document, you have to select the document and click on this. So when you click on this, okay, we'll do this. We'll do this also. Let me save this and let's get over with the classification for this document. Let's see. Done. So this is perfect scenario. What if it was not a perfect scenario? What if there was a false document that I don't want to use? So let's create one false document. Now let's run this. You see, it will immediately throw error. The bot is not even able to digitize it or to classify it, right? So what you need to do is you need to cover this by try and catch. So you have to keep a try and catch over here. So surround with try catch. So for our demo purpose, we are going to consider idle scenario. I've shown you something goes wrong, how to handle it. Now I'm going to show you the action center. Now, whatever we learned is attended automation. Let me revise you the concept of both attended and unattended automation. So if you run something from your assistant, this is your assistant, the purple color thing if you see over here. So this is your assistant. If you run something from here, it is attended automation. But if you define a time for your robot to start working, say suppose 4 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m. in the morning, and the bot without your effort starts working, that is unattended automation. And how to do unattended automation when we are doing document understanding, this is what we are going to learn. Before learning that, we are going to learn one more new concept today that is called as the action center. So what happened in the year 2020 beginning, initial release, UiPath came up with a concept of human in the loop. What does that mean? That the robot and the human both work together. How will that be possible? So suppose you are working for a bank, you are able to extract information for a user, but now you want somebody to validate it. Suppose I make a transaction of 10 lakhs in one day. That's not basically possible, but suppose I do that. And suppose it's a fraud. And the robot detects that it's a fraud and sends an email to the higher authorities in the bank. Now the higher authorities can either accept or reject. As soon as they accept or reject, the bot will take further actions on that request. So this is human in the loop concept, right? Let's learn about it. Now, in practical terms, let's go back to our orchestrator. So this is our orchestrator or automation, or let me basically go back to the automation cloud. So this is my automation cloud. On this automation cloud, you will see something called as actions. This is your action center basically. You will also find it over here. So let's click on actions. I have certain completed tasks that I'll show you, but if a new task is created, it will be created under unassigned, and then you can assign it to yourself or your team member, and it will go to pending state. As soon as you perform the action, it will be moved to completed state. So I have few actions that I have completed, so it will appear over here. I could not show you the documents. So we are going to keep it like that. But what happens if you remember while I did the present validation station in attended format, you were able to see the invoice and then you were able to classify, right? So we want something like that for our action center. In order to do that, let's go to our orchestrator. So, if you're familiar with the concepts in Azure, Microsoft Azure, it's very similar in our orchestrator as well. So instead of having a folder or anything created, we can actually upload your documents to the cloud. How to do that? For that, you need storage buckets. So let's go to our orchestrator. I'll show you the storage bucket. So consider storage bucket as a folder that is created in the cloud environment. All right, it's nothing fancy, very easy. And remember, you can ask me questions. So please ask me questions. This is a very important and advanced topic. I believe you should have doubts. I want you to have doubts. So if you're practicing, you will definitely have some doubts. So I have few folders or storage buckets already created for my workshops and etc. So let's see what I can use. All right, I can use this DU workshop bucket. So how to create? So if you're doing it for the first time, it's very simple. Let me delete one or two because I have a lot of documents. I can't read it. Okay, how to do that? Just click on add storage bucket, click on create. Now, this is a cloud service, as I've been telling you. You can consider that you can join your orchestrator to your Azure storage, AWS workspace, etc. So for us, we are not going to do anything fancy like that, but we are going to start with this. So you can give a name of your choice. So maybe let's give test again. Give a meaningful description, and then suppose if you're working in an organization and you don't want everyone to be able to manipulate your folders, so like you can at properties level you can tell, right, that whether you want to give complete access to a folder or just read access. It's very similar over here. So if you want to give read only access, just toggle the button. It's as simple as that. So this is storage bucket. I'll tell you where it is used. All right. Once you've created the storage bucket, that's it. You don't have to do anything. Let's come back to our workflow. Before doing that, I'll take a small pause. The floor is open, guys. Please ask me questions if you have. Or you can let me know if you were able to follow all the codes that I've done so far, or you've been practicing or not. Okay, I hope you're practicing. So let's get back to our job. So right now this was attended. I'm going to mark this. So there is one best practice. Take a note. Whenever you're coding, whether be it UiPath or you're coding for some fancy application, etc., whatever it is, make sure your code is always readable. And how we do that, we usually add comments, right? So UiPath has activity called as comment activity, which you can use. So I'm going to do that just so that when I share this code, you basically know what I've shared with you. Now, I've commented this out. I want to use unattended automation, that's why. So let's do that. All right. So for using unattended automation, we have actually set of activities that's wait, that's called as present classification station and wait for document classification action. Let's do that. Sorry, create document classification action and wait for document classification action. Let's use that. First, we are going to create an action to do in the action center. So for to do that, you have create document classification action. Give a good title. So what I usually do is I create the actions with the file name. Priority is medium. Action catalog you want to give, you don't want to give is totally your choice. What I'm going to do is one very fancy thing. What I want, whatever my bot classifies or I perform action, I want it to be stored somewhere. I'm going to create an empty folder for that. And this is what I'm going to use. So the bucket that I'm using is DU Workshop. Let's keep it default. Document path, again, the document path is stored in the variable item. Let's use it. Document text, we already have these variables created for us from our earlier activities. So all that we are doing is using it. It's very easy. Okay, you can create automatic classification results or you can use the same variable that you have created earlier. So I'm going to use validated classification results only. All right. Now, what happens when you use this activity? An action is created in the action center under in this action center over here in the pending state. Sorry, in the unassigned state. Now, how will the bot know that you have approved or rejected the document or classified or rejected the document? It is using this activity. So your action object is basically the output of this activity. So I'm going to use this. Storage details. I want to use the same path. I'm going to give this. And I don't want to remove the data from storage. I'm going to keep the same. I'm going to override my output. So action object again. Validated classification result. I already have that. This output is coming from this activity. So document path. Okay, while you're practicing document understanding, it's just few important points to remember is that your variables and the variable scope. That's it. Avoid creating a lot of variables. That's it. All right. Now let's use Action Center for the same set of things that we did before. So I'm going to run this very quickly and I'm going to show you something very interesting. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, so when you're using Action Center, how to enable human in the loop concept, go to the star button or the settings, project settings, click on that and support persistence. Click on this. Okay, that's it. Once we run this, I'm going to explain you what I did, why I did. All right. So if you see what happened, I'll tell you what was the issue. So for first issue was I gave them a bucket storage detail as well, and I was giving an action folder path as well. So when I gave the action folder path, the bot was trying to validate these files, whatever I have in here. Sorry. Yes, these DU workshop files. If you remember these two files inside this, but basically I kept this folder empty, so it was not able to find, and that's why it was giving me the error that we were seeing. But I removed the action folder path. I do not want to validate anything. So what I did now is I only gave the bucket name. So what the bot did, it should actually have created an action. Now let's see our action was created or not in the action center. Let's come over here. Let's give it a quick refresh. So our first action was created for multi-page invoice. Let it load, and then I'm going to assign it to myself. Now, before I do anything, if you remember, while we were doing it in attended fashion, you were seeing a pop-up, but this is not a pop-up. It's created in the cloud. Now let's assign it to ourselves. Once I assign it to myself, I can actually classify, accept, or reject the document. It's very similar to the one that we did during attended automation. Let's click on this. Let's click and classify the documents one by one and save. Okay, once I do that, if you go back to my workflow, you see the workflow is not working. It's in read only. The bot is still alive. Your bot over here is alive, but the flow has stopped. Click on continue. But when you're doing it using Orchestrator, you don't have to worry about it. It's taken care of. So now let's again step into and again see if any action was created for me. Let's go to unassigned. Let's give it a quick refresh again. Yes. Assign it to myself. All right. Let's go to pending. Now I think it has not classified. Let's classify it to invoice and let's click on save. Done. Let's run our robot and it will stop. So this is how the classification works. You can avoid this validation station or wait for classification activity. How you can do that is, suppose if you have only invoices, don't classify. Your bot will basically know that. You already know that it's an invoice, right? So let me remove this quickly. Done. So we have learned about Action Center. We've learned about storage buckets. We've learned about attended, unattended classification. Now, how will you train your bot? So to train your bot, so you can't do it manually every time, right? Your bot has to be intelligent enough to understand and train its own self. How to do that? Let's learn about it now. Okay. A disclaimer, I am only showing the training right now for demo purpose. In real life scenario, we will always train it at the end of the process. And I'm going to discuss it later, like during our last session maybe. But right now, let's learn how to train. So in order to do that, look for activity called as train classifier scope. So this is train classifier scope. Let's bring it over here. So once you do that, okay, even before doing that, let's revise what all I have. In this classified document scope, I get auto classification results, but then I validate it inside here. And I have validated classification result as my final output. All right, so this is what I'm going to use for training. Let's start. Document path, again, as we've been saying, it's item, document text, document object model. Okay. So now you have two things. Either use human validated data or human validated classification data. So what I'm going to use is human validated classification data for my training. So validated classification results. This is what I'm going to use. Okay. If you see this human validated classified data, it's not, okay, it's basically an array. Let's pass this as an array. Done. So rather than training one by one on each classification, it will train together on both the documents. So let's provide taxonomy. Taxonomy is also an output that we got earlier from our load taxonomy activity. Now, before, like, I know how to minimize this error, but why to minimize or why we are getting this error, I'll tell you. If you go back over here in the classified document scope, remember we used 3 classifiers and we have to train all these 3. So for my demo purpose today, I'm not going to train my machine learning classifier because this classifier is basically used in one of my current projects right now. So I can't basically touch that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to use, but not actually train it. So let's start. Okay, again. It's very simple. For intelligent keyword classifier, we have intelligent keyword classifier trainer. For keyword-based classifier, we have keyword-based classifier trainer. For machine learning classifier, we have machine learning classifier trainer. So let's start training one by one. Over here, the order doesn't matter at all. Okay, it's trainer, not classifier, sorry. Let's bring all the 3 activities into picture. Let's first train these 2. It's very simple to train. Just read your JSON files, click on Manage Learning and save. Same. Open your JSON file, Manage Learning, choose what you want. We have 2 options. I'm going to choose this. Save. Then comes Machine Learning Classifier Trainer. So I'm going to tell you how to configure it, but I'm not going to run my project for this. So over here, remember I used ML classifier skills. You have to click on that and you have to click on get capabilities. So I'm not going to do that because it will start training my ML package. So let's cancel and let's delete this. Now what, and let's configure. So once you configure, click both. That's it, all done. Save. And now, whatever you do over here, manually, in attended fashion or unattended fashion, you train the bot to become intelligent enough so that you don't get this validation station so frequently. So you try to make your bot more intelligent. So this is what you do through this training activity. All right. So now I see. If I'm allowed for more time, I would like to start with extraction also. It's getting interesting. I'm showing you actual parts of document understanding. But if not, in that case, I have questions, and I think there is some chats available as well. Oh, okay. So I have a few questions. So if you've been following, can somebody answer me what are the activities in the document understanding framework? I started my session with that. You can unmute yourself. All right. So we have taxonomy, load taxonomy, we have classification, digitization, classification, extraction, export, and training. And now we have learned until taxonomy, digitize, classify, and train the classifiers. What is left? We are left with extracting the information and exporting and training the information. So I need just one more class for it. So what I'm going to teach you after document understanding, let me show you that. It's very interesting. So once we finish document understanding, I'm going to give you an overview of how to create your applications using UiPath. So for that, I want all of you to be ready with your orchestrator, your cloud tenant, etc. And we are going to start working on something called as UiPath apps. So let me quickly show you. I'll give you a quick overview. It's very easy to use. So if you see right now, I have one application that I've started creating for one of my projects called as HospiCare. It's basically very similar to OutSystems. If you have heard about it, it's a web application development tool. So we have now something like that in UiPath as well. You have something very similar in, called as Power Apps also from Microsoft. So this is one of my app that I created. So it has to be associated with some workflows that currently is under progress. This application is under progress and it is very simple to build. I have multiple pages associated with it, like the login page, etc. Okay. So this will be our next topic. I'll give you an overview. It's very interesting. Okay. So any questions, guys?
They don't have any questions.
Yeah. So I will share the workflow that we created today so that you can practice. I've already shared you the practice document. Keep practicing. Okay. Also, if you are looking to make a career in RPA, make sure that you learn these concepts. These advanced concepts is very important. Nobody, trust me, nobody when whosoever goes and takes your interview is not going to ask you about what is attended automation and unattended automation. Even while I am taking interviews, I definitely ask my candidate, do they know something about any advanced topic, AI center, action center, etc. So make sure you practice it. It's going to help you in your career. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your amazing session. I must say you are like really knowledgeable.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you so much. I hope I can help the students
Looking forward for the tomorrow's session.
very much. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.